City Department of Transportation Commissioner Udonis Rodriguez.
Thank you. Hey. Yeah, I take it. Why not? Come on, come on. It's a nice weather, right? Nice day. For great people like everyone here, that together we've been able to, get things done. We trust the commitment of this administration. I can say that very proud to, be able to take the city further when it came to be more electric. And I can say you hear from Fernando Mateo, but he's the one that in case say months ago he say, what are we doing? So our drivers not only are able yeah, yeah, thank you. El jefe de verdad, el hombre que so here say that it's not only enough for to see drivers interested in buying an electric vehicle. The question is where do they charge? And I can tell you, even myself had the challenge, and I know Commissioner too. You can start driving an electric car, but at some point, if you go from point A to point B, you can be in an electric vehicle. But if you had to make so many stops across the city, and Steve who worked with me and Luis, they know that sometimes we're driving together, and sometimes there's not enough charges nearby where you need it, and that's why when we are able to do a ribbon cutting on these new electric charges as a result of great partnership, agency, NIPA, CONED, and other. This is what we all should be very proud. So on behalf of Mayor Eric Adams and the whole team at DOT, 6,000 men and women, and TSA, I want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of this great process. Today we are opening a brand new electric vehicle charging facility in the Bronx, a community that they used to be left behind for so many decades. And now in our leadership, that's not happening anymore. This station is so important because so many taxi and limousine drivers live and work, or one of the two, in this community with few places to charge their electric vehicles. This station has 4 fast chargers that can deliver an 80% charge to most EVs under an hour and as quick as 20 minutes. The station is also equipped with 4 level 2 chargers that can provide EVs a full charge in 6 to 8 hours. This is an important piece of the city plan goal of having all New Yorkers live within 2.5 miles of a fast charge by 2035. Before today, only 80% of New Yorkers live that close to a fast chargers, with the majority of the infrastructure concentrated in wealthy areas of Manhattan. Nothing wrong of being wealthy, but we just have to share the love. We have to be sure that what we provide to the wealthy upper middle class also is provided to the working class community. And many of what we have is also besides being in downtown Manhattan and inner Brooklyn and Queens is changing. This station alone bring us to 88%. And I was doing the math. If we are at 88%, what does it take? Why it would take 12 more years? Why it would take to 2035 to accomplish, the 100% when we are only 12% shorter? Well, the answer is that most of those areas are underserved community. The answer is that in those areas, there's a lack. Most of those areas where we're lacking electrical charges are the most underserved. And in most of those areas, there's not enough power. And Coney had to be creative and work harder to be sure, as they're doing it, to be sure that we take those challenges. And neither there's incentive for the private sector, to put the monies there, because it's the underserved community that is mainly lacking, those e-charge. There's e-charges in wealthy community in the garage, in their building. So we are, again, taking the responsibility that we expect that the private sector also do the same thing. Today's event also underscores the agency commitment to equity in all we do. Not only does the Bronx deserve its fair share of EVs charging, but it's critical part of the supporting working class drivers in the transition to clean energy. Achieving a greener transportation future means investing in electric vehicles chargers that will help us say goodbye to fossil fuels. And as a former car drivers, yes, 112 of Caddy Car Service, that together with some driver from Siemens, we built the Bailey Car Service. And I work at night and my brother-in-law during the daytime so that I could take classes. I know how important it is for our drivers. I understand how critical it is to equitable invest in electrical vehicle charging outside of the city's core. When the private sector doesn't step in to offer EV charging, as I said before, the government step up. And again, it's a partnership. We also need the private sector. Everything that we do, major project in this city, is a formula of public and private sector working together. This new station will join 3 existing NYC DOT fast charging stations in Queens at the Borough Hall and Court Square Municipal Garage, and in Manhattan at the Delancey Essex Garage, the neighborhood where Fernando Mateo was born, right? Delancey, in that area. And that's not all. Today is just the first of many more new stations, including 7 more sites already in construction, 5 more fast charging hubs already in construction or construction completed, 6 more fast charging hubs expected to start construction in 2025, 3 L2 only installation in construction with 6 more expected. And throughout Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island, our community will be covered. And this has been a team effort. I want to thank our partners at the New York Power Authority, who was our project manager for this installation and is funding 10 of the sites in our pipeline. We also want to thank Connect for being a great partner for working closely with us on this effort. We look forward to many more stations to come. Juan Menes en español. Para mí es un honor estar aquí representando al alcalde Rick Adams, donde estamos haciendo el corte de cinta de otro de los cargadores eléctricos en una comunidad como el Bronx, que donde viven en algunos lugares del Bronx parte de la clase trabajadora, y nosotros simplemente estamos siguiendo el objetivo de que de aquí al 2035 todos los neoyorquinos vivan a 2.5 millas de donde ellos puedan encontrar un cargador para cargar su vehículo eléctrico. Esta iniciativa, le doy crédito a Fernando Mateo, presidente de la Federación de Taxistas, que ustedes van, vocero, que ustedes van a escuchar, de él también, quien fue atado encima de mí diciéndome, los taxistas de nosotros están comprando los carros eléctricos, pero no encuentran lugares donde ellos poder cargarlo. Así de que este es un trabajo en conjunto, bajo el liderazgo del alcalde, comisionado de TLC, que van a escuchar de él, y todos nosotros que estamos aquí trabajando para asegurarnos de que en la ciudad de Nueva York todas las comunidades, no solamente la clase alta, sino también la clase media y la clase trabajadora, puedan encontrar cargadores eléctricos para que si tienen un vehículo, no solamente sea posible encontrar un cargador si vive en un edificio que sea de lujo o si vive en una comunidad de alto ingreso. Así que para nosotros es un gran honor estar aquí, todos trabajando para asegurarnos de que podamos tener esta gran inauguración que necesitamos. Ahora vamos a escuchar la palabra de alguien que es un partner de nosotros, el comisionado de Taxi Limousine Commission de la ciudad de Nueva York.
Well, good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank the DOT for their work and commitment to making sure that our city is a little bit greener. I want to thank Con Ed, and I want to thank the New York Power Authority, and I also want to thank Fernando Mateo, the chair of the New York State Federation of Taxi Workers. all of us came together to make sure that we could build more charging stations for all 5 boroughs. And what came about 2.5 years ago when we released the Green Rise Initiative with 12,000 more EVs on the road and more coming to convert the 80,000 vehicles that we have in the TLC industries to 100% electric by 2030. Thank you. And what happened then is that what we see today is now 1 in 5 rides are part of the Green Rides Initiative. That is a huge, huge undertaking, and we will continue to convert every single vehicle to electric or wheelchair accessible. But let me give you some facts. Since the start of 2024, TLC licensed EVs have driven about 222 million trips and have curbed over 55,000 metric tons of carbon emissions. That is equivalent to 6.2 million of gasoline consumed, or just over 61 million pounds of burned coal. Since we launched the Green Rides Initiative, we have seen a surge in fast charging infrastructure. These 4 are just the 124 that we have added. And so congratulations again to all the partners behind me for their incredible work and commitment to making our city a greener and more sustainable city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. David has been a great friend, a great leader running this TLC, and also a big advocate for the city to build more electrical chargers. Now, before we hear from the elected Mateos, I also want to introduce John Markowitz, who is a Senior Director of the E-Mobility at the New York Power Authority.
Morning, everyone. I'd like to thank the Commissioner and all our colleagues at City DOT for involving us in this project. We managed the engineering and construction management on building out these chargers. And this particular site personally has a lot of meaning for me as a child of the Bronx and as an EV driver. And that City DOT really has this ambitious vision of what I call the final frontier of EV charging, right? Is charging in dense urban neighborhoods in all 5 boroughs, right? And getting the infrastructure in place to serve apartment dwellers, TLC drivers, commuters, visitors to the city. All these people are going to be coming in EVs, and we'll be ready for it. So these fast chargers will allow somebody to charge up in as little as 20 minutes. And we're not just celebrating these fast chargers. There's also level 2 chargers over to my left. There's 4 at the site currently, but we future-proofed the site to build up to 18 at this site. So plenty of charging for all different use cases, whether you're parked here overnight because you live locally or whether you're here just for a few minutes to pick up coffee in between fares. So we really laud everything that DOT is doing, everything that TLC is doing to really make the city more sustainable, improve the quality of life, and we're just really honored to be part of this project. Thank you.
Sorry, Allison, let's also come in here from Allison from Connect. Again, then we follow with our great elected, great friend, and Fernando Mateo. Allison.
Hi. Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be present at this opening of this fast and slow charging station. Con Edison is proud to be a partner with DOT, TLC, and NYPA on this project to bring public fast charging to the Bronx. This charging station is a perfect example of the widespread, equitable charging network that we are working to build through our Power Ready incentive program. Local access to fast charging will make it easier for many for-hire drivers who live in this neighborhood to go electric. This not only supports the Green Rides initiative that you've heard about, but it also improves air quality in this neighborhood. Congratulations to all of the project partners, and we look forward to more fast charging and more charging in the city to come. Thank you.
Thank you, and I want to acknowledge the Charles, Darnell, Mark, and Will. Will is a person who oversees the whole division of that work together, and you guys who work with Will, feel free to join us here too. Like, they're the one who get things done. Like, join us here too. And working with Will everything on the charges and the parking that we do. Commissioner take credit, we're the face, but they are the one that, they really, really work so hard. And now let's hear from two great friends, Gustavo and then John, both of them Senator Assembly member. They great friend of DOT, they great friend not only on the charges, but also working with us. We have a lot of bills that we need Albany to be with us to make our streets safer for pedestrians and cyclists.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning, everyone. So I've been in New York since 1998, and for a good chunk of that, I didn't have a car. When I became a senator, kind of figured out that I needed one, so I did. Got one back in 2011, and I rode that lady up and down the highway for many years until about 143,000 miles later, I needed to upgrade. This is just a few years ago. And I was in the process of figuring out what kind of car I was going to get. And I was committed to figuring out whether I was going to get a full electric or a hybrid. Ultimately, I went full electric, but the only reason I did that was because I knew that up in Albany, in a parking lot that we have available to us as legislators, there's a whole bunch of level 2s that once I make the long ride up to Albany, I can plug in there. But the reality is that if I did not know that to be true, I would not have gotten an electric, because charging around here is a difficult thing. Even to this point, when I'm not going up to Albany regularly, I was telling Fernando that I bump into a lot of the folks a lot of the livery drivers and such, because they go, like I do, up 87 to the first stop in Ardsley, and I get on the level 3s there, and I just make a line behind a lot of the cabbies to be able to charge. So the fact that there's going to be these fast chargers here makes it available not only to me, which I'm very thankful for, but more importantly, not only for the livery cab drivers, but for a lot of Bronx sites who have thought about doing it, but have not seen an option for themselves because they don't have a fast charger next to them. So I'm glad to be able to collaborate with the DOT and the city to make sure that we expand the capacity of vehicles to be charged everywhere in the city. And I'm certainly looking forward to charging mine after we get this thing out of there so I can back in and charge. Thank you so much.
Good morning. You know, it's a beautiful day because now I get to go home tonight and make my case for the 2026 Mazda or the Mustang Mach-E GT that I've been dying for. But because we didn't have the charging stations we needed in the Bronx, I couldn't make my case to my wife. So tonight I get to do that with photos from this very press conference. So thank you so much to all of you who are contributing to that effort tonight. But I'm Assemblyman John Zaccaro, and I'm thrilled really to stand here today as the Bronx gets charged up. With the installation of new electric vehicle fast charging stations here right on White Plains Road, we're not just driving change, we're accelerating it. And a big thank you to DOT, to the TLC, to Con Ed, to the Power Authority, and all of those who it took to really get to this point today. You know, ensuring that the Bronx is front and center in our city's push for electric vehicle infrastructure. And it's about time that our community had the resources to reduce our carbon footprint. These fast charging stations are a game changer. They're empowering more residents to consider electric vehicles. They're making eco-friendly choices not just possible, but practical. And let's not forget the economic boost. While your car charges here, you can shop, you can eat, and you can now support our local businesses right here on White Plains Road. And so today we're not only electrifying our streets, but we're energizing our economy. And together, we're paving the way for a more cleaner, more greener, and more productive society. And I want to thank all those who contributed to that today. Thank you guys so much.
I want to acknowledge Arisa, who is our Bronx Borough Commissioner, acting commissioner, and also there's a commissioner in Bronx, and she is the person. And there's also Margaret Fujoni, who oversee the whole operation, 6 operation units at DOT. Let's hear again the person who's been the vocal, the advocate, Fernando. Who is the other?
You forgot my last name? Good afternoon. Good morning, God. Okay, been here so long, I thought it was afternoon already. Well, listen, everything that has been said here is amazing. You know, from our elected officials having to travel out of the city to charge their vehicles, to those that want to get a vehicle but are thinking about it because they know that there aren't enough places for them to charge. The partnership here is amazing. I mean, bringing Con Ed and the Power Authority, the DOT, and the TLC together, I'm sure was a huge task, Commissioner. I'm sure that bringing state and city together, sometimes it's very difficult. But I'll tell you one thing. This is our city. This is where we live. This is where I grew up. This is the only city that I know. And I know that there are so many children that suffer from asthma and so many people that suffer from diseases from just the smoke that they inhale every single day. You know, we all agree that electric is the way to go, okay? But, you know, I don't understand why it's taken so long for us to get to where we're at, okay? We have 15,000 electric vehicles that the TLC released. But there aren't enough charging stations for these drivers to get power so that they can continue to work. So it makes it very difficult for them that live off of the people that they pick up and drop off every day to know that there are maybe 30 or 40 or 50 charging stations, let's say in the Bronx, when there are thousands of cars. Can you imagine if there were 5 gas stations in every borough with all the millions of cars that we have transiting through here? I mean, where would we'd have lines and lines of people waiting to gas up. We need lots like this to have 100, 200 charging stations so that the residents and the drivers can charge. So this is a great beginning. This is a great start. And I commend everyone that's worked so hard to get to this point today. But I will also ask you, you know, we have a mayor that cares. We have a mayor that listens, and I spoke to him numerous times. And as our Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez said, you know, it's us pushing that gets things done like this, right? But we need more. We need the private sector that has lots that are empty to say, you know what, we can convert this into EV stations. We need Con Ed to maybe have an express service department to bring these units into our communities. We need the Power Authority to say, you know what, we have to put the pedal to the metal. Because if right now we didn't have enough gas to feed all the gas stations in New York, something would be done. Well, right now we don't have enough electrical stations to feed the amount of electrical vehicles that are out there. I'd love an electric car, but I'll have nightmares thinking that if I get one, where the hell am I going to charge that vehicle? So having said that, guys, I want the taxi industry, I want the drivers to know that the New York State Federation of Taxi Drivers is going to fight all the way until we get thousands of charging stations throughout all 5 boroughs. And I'm hoping that that new administration coming in, whomever it may be, know that the work that these commissioners started here must continue. We need to get more electric charging stations, or guess what? Our city will never really be clean, okay? So thank you once again to all of you. I know that he mentioned all of the hardworking people here. Thank you all for everything that you've done, but let's put the pedal to the metal and let's get more stations up and running. Thank you.
If not, then we're doing the ribbon cutting, and then going to be inviting everyone to join me as we're going to be doing charging the first vehicle in this space. But now let's remove this.